Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Something Super Spiritual. I'm Jeffrey Peck, and look who I have with us. Karen Gabler, thank you so much for being here.
Hello, I'm so excited to be back with you again.
It's so good to see you. It's always so good to see you. And we were talking before we started, and there's a lot of shift happening. We talked a little bit about this last week, but I think that so many of us are experiencing this that we're going to continue this conversation because so many of us are feeling shift, and within that shift, we might feel stuck in that shift.
Yes, and it's funny as you're saying that, I'm thinking shift is so close to another word that is what it feels like when shift is happening.
Yes. A big pile of it.
A big pile of shift is going on.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, it's so true. It can feel tough. Being stuck is tough. I mean, they taught us when we were kids. I don't know, maybe the younger people won't remember this, but do you remember when we learned about quicksand as a child, even in cartoons, and it seemed like it was going to be a big part of our lives was avoiding quicksand?
Totally. Yes.
And nobody ever told us that the quicksand we had to avoid was the emotional quicksand instead of the physical quicksand.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is such a great point. Like, I mean, it was on all of our cartoons, Bugs
Yes.
Bunny, Coyote, and the Roadrunner,
Yes.
and oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. And if you think about it, I have this theory. I may have brought this up before, but I have this theory that a lot of our media, our movies, our cartoons, our books, our music are Easter eggs for what's really happening. And that's a perfect example where it just seems like such a crazy comparison. But the excess of quicksand and the fact that we feel very stuck, we feel like we're swimming against nothing, we feel like we can see out, but we can't get out. It's such a common theme. A lot of my intuitive coaching clients are coming forward with this these days, just feeling like I'm treading water, nothing's happening.
Yeah, uh it's it's in the ethers. I have been experiencing it myself the last few months. It's coming up, it's being reflected in the readings that are happening.
Yes.
Where people are coming because they're feeling stuck and unsure of which direction to take that next step.
Mhm.
And you've got some big changes coming up. I mean, you're not stuck, but you've got some big, huge shift happening right now too.
I absolutely do have big changes coming up, but I will say, in all fairness, it has felt stuck for a long time.
Yeah.
So, as we've discussed, my change is this weekend, I'm officially saying goodbye to my law career after 32 years of practice, and so exciting. And moving my work entirely into my spiritual work, which is just feels like a glorious opportunity to
Totally.
really focus on that direction. And I'm just so excited about it. But, when you think
Totally.
about the stuck part, it is really, having felt stuck for quite a while. And I've got a lot of experience now with feeling stuck and demanding that something shift until I got into the mode of I'm going to shift it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. When you were leading up to that, it was just crossing my mind that so often we are waiting for it. We're like sitting at our window, like, is it going to come by? When's it coming by? When's it coming? Well, it's not at my door yet. Waiting for the doorbell to ring. It's like, but that feeling of stuckness, or that feeling of stalemate, like you're just like you're going nowhere fast. That in itself is a message from spirit, from our guides, guardians, saying, hello, shift needs to happen. It's time. You're leveling up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an old joke about I don't know if we've talked about this, but about winning the lottery where the guy is trying to say, God, why am I not winning the lottery? Please help me win the lottery. I want to try to win the lottery. Please help me win the lottery. And finally, the message from God or from spirit is, please buy a ticket. So it reminds us that some action is needed. And, the funny thing is, I think about it, we think about, for instance, going on a diet. And we think, I need to be healthier. I need to get in better shape. So what do? We stop feeding ourselves and we restrict and we restrict and restrict and we stay still. And then it all blows up in our face because we think we're making forward momentum. But as soon as we relax, it just all goes away and we binge and everything comes back. It's a similar model with getting stuck. What we do when we get stuck is we get still. I am stuck. Therefore, I will sit here and stare at the wall. I might have a few tantrums. I'm going to sit here and lament the fact that I am really stuck. I am not going anywhere. I am not doing anything. I have been sitting here doing nothing for 3 months, not leaving my house. And spirit's got to be up there going, get up, get up, stand up, walk outside, call a friend, do something, please help me
Yes.
help you, do something.
Yes. Yeah, so often a lot of the direction and encouragement in readings is that, we have to meet spirit halfway. We can we can sit here all day long staring at the wall and having a temper tantrum, which,
Yes.
I mean,
That's valuable.
sure,
It's necessary.
absolutely, especially when you have a temper tantrum and unload that stuck energy on your insides,
Yes.
that's helpful.
Yes.
That's helpful.
I think tantrums they're not appreciated for what they need to be. Having a tantrum is moving energy. Having a good cry is moving energy. And when we're stuck, that's what we're trying to do, is move energy somehow. Just a tiny little bit, doing something different, doing something bigger. It gathers momentum. And I see the comment, we've had a few tantrums. Yeah, we've all had them. Anybody who says I've never had a tantrum, you're either lying to yourself or you are ready for a big one. It's coming because it does happen. And sometimes it's funny if you think about our guides sitting around in the universe going, oh my gosh, these toddlers, what are we going to do with them? Think of a parent watching a 3-year-old just saying, okay, I don't even know what to do with you. I'm going to let you just pound the floor. And whenever you're done, you get up and we'll get productive again. And, our guides are doing the same thing in a very loving way. Poor baby having a fit. It's okay. It's okay. You're going to be all right. But we're not going to get anywhere until we stop having the fit. But the fit is valuable. Like I said, like you said, it's moving energy. It's getting that out. It's clearing that space. Tantrums and tears are decluttering your energy.
Yeah, the tears are healing that portion too that's been hurt,
Yes.
Yeah, so I just I really appreciate the you get to a place where you appreciate the stuckness for what it is upon coming out, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and recognize, okay, you felt that there was time for change. Although, even though you feel like it's time to change, it's like, well, what do I do? What am I supposed to change? I think really it's just really about being receptive and open to what is presenting itself, what is swirling around your energetic field, right? And the synchronicities that line up once we're out of the pent up stage, of just being mad, we free up all that space, energy starts to flow, we start to be receptive again, and then synchronicities start to line up for us.
Yes.
And what we had once struggled with trying to figure out how to make these changes, because we don't know what the changes need to be. Suddenly it's like, oh, well, that's obvious. Why didn't I think about that 2 months ago?
Great. Well, and that's, it's funny because I hear this a lot with clients where there's a couple of things going on. One is this perception of we've got to get going on the thing that we want to achieve. So we've got to get that moving immediately. We forget that the first step is to just get something moving. Even if it is, I'm going to walk around the block. If we can't do that, I'm going to walk to the mailbox. If we can't do that, I'm going to get up and walk into the backyard, and I'm going to stand there and feel the air for 3 minutes, and then I'm going to come back in. We always, I think that's something that our society has developed, particularly in America, this idea of if you're not being industrious, then you are failing. You've got to be churning, you've got to be working, you've got to be growing, you've got to be progressing. We don't honor on a human level, on a societal level, we don't honor that the most significant growth is happening inside, the unseen growth. And we think that progress means by tomorrow, I will have 10 people calling me for my work. By next week, I will have 500,000 more subscribers. We don't think about, by next week, I'm going to make a list of 5 topics I could discuss that would be meaningful to people. We don't think about today, I'm going to call a friend and lift my spirits. Today, I'm going to explore how to use StreamYard so that I could consider possibly putting something online someday. All of these little steps start that momentum. Yes. They start us on that path.
Yes. Yes. And because we're so used to supersizing everything that we're doing.
Yes.
We go from baby step to Oprah, or baby to Taylor Swift. Not everybody, we're not all meant to be that big, right? We're not all meant to be that. And that does not, their quote bigness, the perception of their bigness is no different than ours in how we are meant to be here, right? So comparing ourselves, like we were talking earlier, is well, it's not helpful. Let's just say it that way.
It's not helpful. And it's go ahead, Jeffrey.
And getting things moving, meeting spirit halfway, starting with those little baby steps, those little, thinking of, well, what can I do today or at this very minute? Even if it's, well, like you said, walking out to the mailbox or walking out to the backyard. Because here's the thing, like physics related. Now, I'm not a sciencey person by any stretch, but here's one thing I know. That physics law about things that an object in motion stays in motion. When we are not in motion, and if we think about like my physicality over the years, I've never been a gym goer. I've tried, but I've never been a gym goer. I'm a runner. I've been through years and years and years, many different stretches of my life where I'm running, and then years where I'm not running. Getting back into the running, because there has been no motion, is very, very hard getting the object going.
Yes.
So once we get that object moving, it's easier to keep the momentum, and a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further. So yeah, it's that too.
Yeah. And the other thing is we've been sold a bill of goods as well from a spiritual level. And I was having a really great conversation with Lori Albert. I know you know Lori. She's terrific.
Oh, I love Lori. Yes.
Yes. And we were talking about manifestation, which is a key area of her work, of course. And, there have been so many publications and comments and presentations about, if you really truly believe it, you will manifest it. Even, the ultra famous book, The Secret, you just have to truly believe and you're going to manifest it. And then we are left with the feeling of, if it's not manifesting, there must be something wrong with us. We're not believing hard enough. So I'm going to cross my fingers and I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to twirl 3 times and I'm going to wish even harder. And it goes back to that momentum. Manifestation still includes meeting spirit halfway, as you said. So if you were going to be a person who puts on presentations, then you would also be the type of person who would wake up in the morning and start brainstorming on what that topic content might be. If you were the type of person that was going to be a regular runner, you would also be the type of person that would get up and put on your running clothes and your running shoes and walk outside your door and at least move your legs 3 or 4 times
Yes.
rather than sitting on the couch.
Yes.
So part of manifestation is living it, which means acting like a person who had it. If I was a person who, let's say I wanted $1,000,000, well, a person who had $1,000,000 wouldn't be sitting on the couch going, I don't have any money. I'm not going to make any money. Where am I going to find the money? I've got bills coming in and there's no money. I wouldn't be acting like that. Now, you could argue with that and say, well, if you had $1,000,000, you'd be going out and go shopping. Well, maybe, but in the meantime, the baby steps we're talking about, I would not be the kind of person who was walking around panicking about my bills. So if I'm going to manifest abundance, I'm going to think and act like a person who has abundance, which partially means trusting. We were talking beforehand about trusting that you're going to get the help you need.
Mm-hmm. It's truth. That's very true. And it takes me back to Abraham Hicks back in the 2000s. Do you remember their book, The Vortex, Getting in the Vortex, I think it's called?
Yeah.
And she spoke to it like that, where when we're in our own vortex, there's movement. And you're already and manifesting it is as if you already have it. You're feeling in here as you're vibrating as if you already have it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
And I mean, it could be as simple as I wrote 3 paragraphs in a journal about what my life looks like when I'm in abundance. And that's momentum right there.
Oh, it totally is. It totally is. Yeah. That's you're coming from a place of gratitude, and it's completely shifting the energies on your insides.
Yes.
When it starts with gratitude,
Yeah.
we can't help but already feel that pilot light go a little bit bigger on our insides.
Yes. And that can be hard too, again, because of the way we approach things as humans. It kind of goes back to the diet analogy I was giving. People say, well, you have to love the body that you're in. And then everyone's answer to that is, but I don't love it. I wouldn't want to change it if I loved it. But loving the body you're in means I'm giving it nutritious food. I am moving it to the best of my ability. I am giving it enough rest. Loving your body just doesn't mean I stand and look at myself in the mirror and go, I love this body, which is what we think is what's happening with manifestation. No, it's how would I act if I loved my body? I would treat it with love. I would not say terrible things about it. I would not put chemical crap inside of it. I would not let it sleep 3 hours and demand that it keep going. I wouldn't do those things if I acted like I loved it.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
We so easily forget about this. Self-abandonment is like that's the first thing. It's like when we're in that place of fear and what do I do next? We abandon all of this and in search for everything out here. Like, what do we have to do? What do we have to do? Where are we looking? What do I need? Yeah.
Yes. And I see a comment from our good friend Michael Christopher saying, I'm almost senior citizen. Let's get the show on the road. It's so funny because it's true. And it's something that anybody who's gotten probably past 40, past 45, something in that range, you're thinking about running out of time, needing to get moving. And there's all sorts of stories in the public about people who did their first amazing thing in their 80s or started a new career in their 70s. And
right.
And and that feeling of, certainly I've had a lot of those feelings as I've started thinking about retiring my law practice and thinking, okay, this huge piece of my life is over. There's this new chapter. Now it's the ending chapter. This is the final play. And it's really, again, that sets us up for this feeling of, I don't have time to live a vibrant and thrilling life any longer. I have run out of time. I am almost out of time. That is just a terrible approach. I've been, worrying about, which obviously doesn't help, worrying about the fact that I was having those thoughts, thinking, okay, wait a minute. If we go on a vacation for 2 weeks and it's a brilliant, amazing, fabulous vacation and it's the best time we've ever had and we've thoroughly enjoyed every second, we don't sit there on the beach watching the sunset thinking, my life has been useless because I have not been doing this every day for the past 40, 50 plus years. I've wasted my life. I could have been on this beach. I've wasted my life. We're just in the moment. We're in that moment. We're embracing every bit of that moment. And that is the case for every moment of our lives. Instead of, I am running out of time, it's, what can I do today that's going to feel vibrant? What can I do today that's going to set up an experience a month from now that's going to feel vibrant? What could I do this month that sets up a life I want to be living 6 months from now that's going to feel vibrant?
Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking, well, while you were saying that, do you listen to Bashar talk ever?
Not usually.
Bashar has this formula of manifesting, very similar to what we've just been talking about. But we start off by doing that which lights us up from the inside out. That is just like, that is our passion. That is our excitement. That is like, we can't imagine life without that. That's just what we want to do and how we want to serve. And the next thing he says is to do it in a way where you have zero expectations of the outcome. Let all of that go. The expectations, the demand.
Yeah.
The demand.
The judgment.
Totally. Do it. 100% do it, but do it without all that other minutia.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like processing that's difficult. I mean, it's difficult to imagine doing what we love to do without, well, I guess the payoff, the payoff of serving people, of helping people, healing people, lifting people, inspiring people, paying the bills. You know what I mean? Like expanding and growing and like, but just doing it without
Yes.
expectation or of any of that.
Well, and I don't think it's just, that's a human condition, of course, to be
Totally.
worrying about those things. But we've been taught that condition. We talk about how that's what a human does, but that's what we have been taught to do. We were not, as children, worried about, I'm putting together these Legos, but if I don't have time to make a 3-story building, then what a waste. Why would I even get started? I can't get started. I'm just going to have to give up on that because it's just too much to make the 3-story building. We just put, the 10 Lego blocks down and then we think, oh, this is boring. I'm going to go do something else. And we go bang on a little drum. And do we bang on the drum and say, I'm never going to make a record. Look, I'm showing my age. I'm never going to have an album out. I'm never going to have a CD. I'm never be in a band. There's such a waste of time banging this drum. Just really, why am I even doing this? I'm wasting my life. I got to get moving. I got to get to coloring. I've got things to do. We've been taught that everything we do has to lead to an ultra successful result or it's not worth doing. And what a tragic way for us to be moving through our lives.
Huge. Sad, to think about, those things that if it's not putting our name on the map, our face on the map, whatever, I once had, there was a lady I once knew who ran a talent agency. And she was very clear that if you can't sing, you shouldn't sing. If you can't play the guitar, you shouldn't even try. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, wow. I mean, what a inflexible, rigid place to be.
Yes.
To not be able to experience the joy that one gets from whatever it might be just because you're not Taylor Swift or you're not Oprah or
Right.
the next American Idol or whatever. How, you know what I'm saying? It, like, to strip yourself of that joy.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it in our world of doing spiritual work, if you have a reading, you can either think to yourself, I did one reading this week, my career is going nowhere. Or you can think to yourself, what an incredible blessing to have been able to connect with spirit and provide this guidance or provide this reunion for this person. What a glorious, wondrous thing to know that there are other people and other beings not currently walking the planet in a physical form who are supporting us, who are loving us, who are taking care of us. And we go straight to that human place of, but if I'm not doing 50 and have a waiting list of 500, then what's the point? And just imagine that. Imagine that perception of this moment, whether it's a reading, an interaction, it could be the person you talk to in a coffee shop. This moment is a golden moment of interacting with another being, of the opportunity to bring light to their life, of the opportunity to learn something new, the opportunity to connect and to be seen and valued, or to make someone else feel seen and valued. And to throw that moment, that connection away by lamenting the fact that you didn't have 10 more of them, or you didn't make another $50,000 from doing it, is just, it's taking a blessing and it's spitting on it.
Oof.
And then why would you get more? If you don't value the contributions you're making, even if it was just today, I smiled at the mailman and asked him how his day was going. And I bet nobody else on his route asked him that. And for that split second, he felt seen. He felt like somebody cared how he was doing. Now, if I look at that and say, well, that means absolutely nothing, why would spirit ever give me more of those moments when I clearly don't care to have them?
Oh, a little bit of kindness goes a really, really, really long ways.
And to ourselves as well.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Everything we do has the opportunity to be a blessing. Everything we do.
It's such a great point to be reminded of, you know, because when we do get to these places of feeling like we're not moving anywhere, we're not going anywhere, we're not enough at the moment, we're, you know, whatever it might be, it just doesn't feel good. That's just period. It just doesn't feel good. And it's such a reminder that a little bit of kindness does go a long ways. And you know, saying hello to your mailman like that. We've all heard over and over and over throughout the years is that when we give, we receive.
Yes.
And that's it. Just in that little simple expression.
And it goes even further than that. It goes beyond making the effort to show that kindness. I'm suggesting that we take it into being grateful that we had the opportunity to do so, to notice the blessing of being able to do so.
Yes.
Because it's not just, okay, I was kind. Yay, me. Kudos to me. I'm a kind person. Woohoo.
Right.
It is someone was placed in my path that allowed me to give. And what a blessing to have that opportunity to be there for someone else. And it goes even farther than that, because everybody has had their moments where they've been unkind, they've been rude, they've been in a fight with somebody, they've been in a conflict. And we can beat ourselves up for that as well. Let's suppose you weren't kind to the mailman. Let's suppose the mailman waved at you and you ignored him and walked away. Okay, what's the blessing in that? The blessing in that for you is you noticed. I had an opportunity to connect. I had an opportunity to be kind. I threw it away. The blessing in that is the learning opportunity that, gosh, it would have taken
Yes.
such little effort for me to connect in that moment. Thank you for reminding me that that's important and that it would fill me up just as much as it would the other person. So instead of dissolving into guilt and frustration, all the mistakes we've made, all the scars and scratches we have on our mind, on our heart, on our bodies by the time we get a few decades into life, every single one of them is a beautiful learning opportunity. And I see the comment, only if you recognize that you missed the opportunity. And that's what I'm encouraging is
Yes.
to notice those opportunities, to notice I had a chance to be really connected today. I had a chance to be connected today and I wasn't. If we recognize that, then we're opening ourselves up to so much more expansion. And when we notice things like that, what we are telling spirit is, I'm aware and I want more opportunities. It's the same thing I tell people when they're talking about wanting to see signs. If you want to see signs from your loved one, for example, when you see anything that could remotely be a sign, you thank them for that sign. Now, let's
Yes.
suppose they didn't send the sign. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
I
matter.
received a hummingbird today. Oh, it's probably not a sign. It's just a bird. I'm sure they didn't send it to me. Let's suppose they didn't send it to me, but let's suppose I thanked them for it. They're listening and they hear, oh, when she sees a hummingbird, she thinks that's from us. Let's send more. She notices that. Let's send them. She's aware of that. When spirit knows we're picking up on something, they can and will send us more. Look at that. They felt lifted by that connection. They felt lifted by that interaction. Let's create some more. Let's lift them. They're willing to be lifted in this way. Let's do it. Let's go.
Beautiful. And it's true, so often people ask, was that a message for me? Was that bird a message for me? Was that whatever a message for me? Excuse me. I always say, if it caused you to think of them and gave you pause to go, I wonder, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Whether it literally was or not, the answer is yes, because you just thought of them, you pinged that heartstring, they felt it, they thought of you right in that exchange. So the answer is yes.
Yes. It's just questions. We question everything. Is that their voice? Yeah. Is that their sign? Yes.
Gilberta says, like embracing your missteps as learning lessons instead of escalating into failure. Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. And that goes back to what we were saying about the manifestation and the vibration we're creating. If we have a misstep and we're beating ourselves up for it and we're dwelling on it, then the vibration that is surrounding us is the negativity, the bad energy, the stuck energy. And then spirit might be trying their darndest to reach us, but they can't because we're swirling in this low vibration. But if we acknowledge this was a lesson, I have learned from that, I will do better the next time. I understand now that when I'm tired, this is how I behave. I understand now that I misunderstood and my ego got in the way. That's when you're lifting your vibration. That's when it starts to spiral upward for you and the energy begins to move. And again, you get out of that stuck place.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I can feel it here. I can feel it happening right here, with this conversation.
Yes. It's like you can feel spirit in the background going, yay.
Yes.
Yes. Good job, people. The humans are getting it.
Yes. Medium Kelly Kristen on Instagram says, this is so powerful, Karen. I needed this today.
Oh, hi, Kelly. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. See, that's why our vibration is lifting. We have all these beautiful people here with us.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Let's say hi to everybody. We got all into this serious conversation. We said, let's see, Michael Christopher, Jess. Hi, Jess. Sue. Hi, Sue. Jules, Kay Reynolds, Gilberta, Vicky.
Hi, everybody. I love that. See, anybody who's listening is somebody who is really trying to lift,
Yeah,
wanting to lift. And when you have people wanting to lift, they will be lifted.
totally.
Yeah, there's a key difference between I am not lifted and I would like to be lifted. And there is also a key
Oh,
difference between why isn't spirit lifting me and hey, spirit, if I pick up this end, will you pick up the other end for me?
mhm. Yep. Yep. That's it. And we're doing this together. You know,
Yes.
while we're doing this together, all of us virtually in this little format stage here on YouTube or StreamYard, wherever we are, Facebook, Instagram, I don't know.
All the
But we're
places.
doing it together and we're so much better together. And that's why, it's one of the main reasons that I was so wanting to create an event like we're doing in Sedona in October.
Yeah.
Because when we all come together in community with the same intentions and we are coming with the same for the same reasons, healing, expansion, um, connecting more with spirit, however that might look for us.
Yes.
Learning to understand how our clairs, how our spiritual senses work and operate on our insides. We're all doing that together. We're all like little batteries, and we're all sitting together in that big room together, meditating or chanting or whatever it might be. Just those little batteries all connect and all start working together, and it just starts to expand and expand and expand. And
Yes.
it's the most incredible feeling.
Yes.
The most
Everybody
incredible
plugs
feeling.
in.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And that's why, you see when we have these conversations and you see comments from people about, I really needed this today, or this is exactly what I've been dealing with. That's not a fluke. Spirit
Mhm.
draws your attention to something like this. Spirit connects you with people who are going through the same things. Spirit's looking for ways to bring together that vibration and to start to spiral it upward. And that's why people feel so connected and so in sync when they're in a conversation like this, because they were meant to be there.
Yeah. The synchronicities that lined up for the notifications to be noticed by whomever it was at this, hour.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the replay, which goes into perpetuity for however
Yes.
long, wherever. So it's awesome. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you
Yes.
all
It
for
makes
being here.
all the difference.
Yeah, I know there are a billion different places your attention could be on right now, and I just am so grateful that you guys are always here and continue to partake in this with us. And thank
Yes.
you too, Karen. Thank you for coming
Oh, I
to.
love being here.
Yeah, I love you being here. Should we do readings for everybody? You guys, do you have any questions? Does anybody have any questions for us before we do readings? Questions, comments on manifesting, healing, unsticking yourself.
Unsticking yourself, getting unstuck. Oh, there's Lori Albert. Lori, we were just shouting you out a few moments ago. Lori is an
Lori.
amazing medium and she does a lot of work on manifesting, and she's just really brilliant and really really thoughtful on how to make it valuable, and she wrote an incredible book about it. So, I'm channeling Lori as we're speaking about that topic here today.
Yeah. Oh, completely. Yeah. Lori has a heart the size of the multiverse.
That's true. That's true. You can't help but be happy in her presence.
It's so true.
And,
Um,
I wanted to mention, just as we're talking about this, sometimes it can just feel daunting. It can feel like, especially when you are stuck, when you are down, it can feel like, okay, walking to the mailbox is too much for me today. I don't have anything to give. And, one of the easiest things you can do, and it truly does work, is to just lay there like a vegetable, not able to move, feeling stuck, and just say, Spirit, I am giving this to you. I am feeling stuck. I am feeling lost. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to go. I'm giving this to you. I need you to handle this for me. I need you to take care of this for me. And I need you to show me the path. Please handle it for me. And what we forget, there's a couple of things we forget. One is that they're going to help when we ask for help. And this sounds so ridiculous
True.
and it feels silly, but asking for help is really critical because their role is not to come down and maneuver our lives and fix our lives and change our lives. Their role is to support and guide us. Obviously, they have their own things to do, and we won't know for sure what those things are until we get there. We only know what they can tell us. But their role for us as guides, as loved ones, is to assist us, but we have to ask them to do it. But the other piece that we forget is we forget that we can almost instruct, handle this for me, take care of this for me. We feel like they are lofty and on high and we can't ask for favors. It's like the things we used to be told when we were kids about, well, you can't ask God to help you fix your bike because God has more important things to do than worry about your bike. Well, the spirit, God, however you view it, it is infinitely powerful. It is infinitely available. That force that binds all of us, that force of love and goodness. Ask and, as I said, almost instruct. Please handle this for me.
Yeah.
Please take care of this for me. And then don't wait an hour and then say, still haven't heard from you. What are you doing? Let it unfold. Let it unfold.
There is something to letting go after you're making the request.
Yes.
There's something in letting go, surrendering to what is, and just taking a deep breath. It's thank you for that reminder. That yes, we do have to ask
Yes.
and or demand, like you said.
And demand politely, demand with gratitude.
You know what else too? I mean, and thank you for the reminder that spirit is infinite. See, and here's the thing: we talk about this often, where spirit, God, guides, guardians, guardian angels, archangels, whatever. We talk about the limitless, unlimited.
Yes.
But I think that our human brains struggle with the true meaning of limitless.
Yes.
So we get caught up in the human, oh, well, there's more important things for them to do right now, or there's more other people suffering in greater ways than me. So I'm not important enough, or my situation isn't important enough. No, 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 no.
Yes, exactly.
Unlimited means infinite, means limitless, means never ending, never. I mean,
Yes.
it's just a big giant wow. So anytime you catch yourself thinking that, just remember,
Yes.
I mean, when I go into the city of San Francisco and I know I have to park somewhere, you can bet I'm calling on the parking angels because it is a nightmare sometimes. And
Yes.
what that looks like is like, just nudge me and guide me the direction that I need to go, where somebody just happens to be synchronistically backing out of a space right as I'm passing. Thank you.
Yes. Again, different vibration. You can approach it with, I'm never going to find a space. Parking here is horrible. I'm never going to find a space. Or you can approach it with, I need your help. Show me where to go. Help me find the right spot.
Yeah.
I see we have a comment from Gilberta about, I was worried about my job, but now I feel my worries are silly. So if there's a message for me, I'm listening. And just feeling into that, Gilberta, for a moment. And what comes to me immediately is, first of all, there is a need for you to give up your concerns to spirit, to ask spirit to help you with this, to ask spirit to take care of it for you and to show you the correct path forward. It feels like there's just some different options that are presented, and there's some worry about, do I stick with this? Do I pursue that? And just giving that up to spirit and asking spirit to show you with more clarity what the path would be is important. But I also feel there's a lot of swirling, a lot of spinning, and then there's a lot of judgment for the spinning. There's stressing about all the things you're worried about, and then there's telling yourself you shouldn't be worrying about it. And the key around that is the telling yourself not to worry is not, or telling yourself that the worries are silly. It's not a spiritual approach. It is a human approach. So we start from, I'm worried about all of these things and I'm not able to influence them, or I'm not changing them, or I have no control over them. But I'm going to worry anyway, and I'm going to dwell on this, and I'm going to spin on this. And then we follow that up with, you're being silly. You don't need to worry about this. You can't do anything anyway. Let it go. All of that is on a very human level. The spiritual side of that is to acknowledge the ego, acknowledge the fear, because what happens when we have our ego in place and it's throwing up roadblocks and it's throwing up worries and fears, it's trying to prepare you so that you won't feel pain if something goes wrong. This could happen, this could happen, this could happen. Let's get ready. Let's get in the bunker. Let's get our weapons. Let's be ready. And the idea is not to say, you need to shut up and get out of the way. I'm tired of worrying about this. The idea is to say, as if you're talking to a child, that sounds really scary, doesn't it? I hear you. I feel your fear. I know you're trying to protect me. I know you have concerns about where this is going. I feel that. And I want you to know I've got this. I've got you. Spirit's got us. I really appreciate the warnings. I really appreciate the effort to prepare me. I really appreciate that you're trying to regain control. All of that protection is so helpful. Thank you. I've heard the message. We've got this, and I've got you, and it's okay. When we acknowledge, again, it's like talking to a toddler. If a toddler's having a tantrum and you say, you're not helping yourself, you need to stop pounding on the floor and stop screaming, they just scream louder, they pound harder. You're not listening to me, so therefore I'm going to do it more. Yeah. But if we can step back and say, oh gosh, that seems scary. That seems tough. You're okay. I've got you. I'm not leaving you. I'm going to be here for you. I've got this. Then your ego kind of starts to take a breath and say, okay, all right. She's listening. He's heard me. We've got this. We're okay. They're aware of the danger. I can calm down. I can go back to my book or whatever I was doing.
Gilberta says that she's grieving her mother, so she feels like she can't hear, and you are definitely swirling. I was feeling that additional anxiety as well, Gilberta, and I'm very sorry to hear of your loss. And everybody send Gilberta just a little bit extra love. But it happens to all of us. Every single one of us that are in full grief experience feeling unheard or unseen by spirit. We feel like that, we're in this alone. And I just really want to encourage you to remember that you're not. Your mother is right there with you. And when you are feeling alone and like you're hearing crickets, just hold on to yourself. Just give yourself a little hug. Just a little, just for a second. Just giving yourself a little bit of love. Now, while you're doing that, imagine your mother right there doing that with you, because she is.
Yeah.
She is.
Grief, again, is an extremely human emotion. And Jeffrey, I know you've had the same experience in readings. People come through in readings. I just had one just a week or so ago where the person I was reading for was in very deep grief. And I can feel their parent coming through in spirit, just absolutely ecstatically happy, feeling all the love and saying, this is so great, because before, when I was there, I could only see my child some of the time, grown-up child, of course.
Yeah.
And now that I'm here, I am with them all the time, every day. They can't get rid of me. I get to see them constantly. And there was so much joy in that. And so there's this feeling, Gilbert, as I feel into, I know the grief is so strong, and I know there's no way around it but to go through it. There just is. but there's so much joy in the spirit world of, I am better than I've ever been, and I am also so close to you, and there is so much less separation than there used to be. And then they know, of course, that we don't feel that. We're still in physical bodies. We are still feeling that we're not connected. And they want so badly for us to know. And it's almost like these arms are coming out from your mother, reaching towards you. It's like when you're on a Zoom meeting with someone and they're muted, but they're talking and you can't hear them. And it's just this feeling from her of, please know that I'm there. Please feel that I'm there. I know you think you can't hear me. I know you think you can't touch me, but please know I am a breath away from you, if that. A breath. It's like I feel this little wisp of air of, ooh, I'm getting goosebumps all over. Pay attention, Gilberta, to breezes that you are feeling. If you feel a rush of air, if you feel a breeze, if you feel the wind, I'm feeling that your mother is going to be coming to you with breath, with air, with breeze, with a feeling of just flowing past you. Pay attention to those moments. Take those moments to say, I feel you. I feel you here with me. And, don't disregard the pain. You may feel her there with you, or you may just have to know she's there with you and still be in deep pain that you can't reach out and grab her. But just try at least to recognize that she's there and feel that little breeze. It's almost like just a waft of a little breeze across your face.
And it might feel like spider webs. It might feel like something that you have to, you're trying to like wipe. Oh yeah. Yeah. Just an FYI. Yeah.
Just a touch, just a feathery little touch.
Thank you, Gilberta. Thank you, everybody, for your comments to Gilberta. Yeah. Got a lot of love coming to you.
Yeah.
I saw, Jules said this earlier. Yeah. She says, or ask for a most benevolent outcome. Just say, I ask all entities, guides, and angels for a most benevolent a most benevolent outcome for a parking space, and it will show. Yes.
I like the MBO. That's good.
Yeah. The MBO. So much easier. Just roll past your lips. Kay Reynolds says, I'm in a wheelchair and I always ask my angels to help me find a parking lot where I can unload the wheelchair. When I ask, it happens. Yeah. When we ask, we're co-creating with them. We're part of it. It's like we were saying earlier. It's reaching out. We're meeting spirit halfway. We have an intention there, and so they're willing to meet us at that.
Yes,
because we are co-creating all of this together and with spirit. What were you going to say, Karen?
I was going to say, let's jump to Tracy McGinley.
Tracy.
I saw that Tracy asked for a reading if we were feeling drawn to her. And I just wanted to mention, I have a feeling around Tracy. You're a very caring person. You're a very giving person. It feels like you are not necessarily getting back what you are giving to others. You are giving a lot and you are not getting filled up. And so it feels like this very kind of one-sided giving, feeling like I said, you're not getting filled up. It feels at the same time, though, that you're not being as open as you could be about your needs. You are not being as open about when you need help, when you need support. You're kind of sitting back hoping that people will notice, people will show up for you. And it almost starts to create this vibe of you doing more in order to get more. And then you're putting yourself more and more out there and feeling more and more resentful. And so rather than going into a space of, I'm just going to keep giving and gosh darn it, nobody's giving back to me. And of course, those are my words, not yours. I'm not suggesting you've said that, but it's more of an energetic feeling of, why am I always the one giving? It is a lesson for you. The reason this keeps coming up for you, there is a lesson in needing to take care of yourself more than you have been, needing to give because you want to give, not give to get, not give hoping that the more you give, someone will notice and will give back. And this feels like there's connections around the family, that family members around you, it's more of a one-sided relationship than you would like at this time. But there is a feeling of you needing to kind of take a breath, take a step back, and communicate about this is what I'm doing, this is what I need. And, just needs can come up in all sorts of ways. When I get home from work, I need you to ask me how my day was. When I am doing all the chores, I need you to ask me what you can do to help, or I need you to step up and do these things that need to be done. It feels like there's a lot of let's sit back and resent the fact that they're not noticing, but it's a lesson for you in communicating, and it's a lesson for them in learning how to hear you. Not a lesson for them in learning how to notice you, a lesson in learning how to hear you. And this is a communication issue for you and for the people closest to you. This is a learning opportunity all the way around to hear someone's needs, to express someone's needs. So I would encourage you to start thinking about that lesson and thinking about how you could facilitate that lesson a bit in your life.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful, Tracy. Communication came up for me earlier as well. And sometimes that feels scary, when we are not used to communicating what we need, and we have to make it known what we need. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. And to remember that the need, sometimes we fall into these periods, and it stems from childhood wounding, traumas, patterns, behavioral patterns, where we need to feel needed. And you are worth it. You are already enough. So I want to encourage you to turn that all back around on you and remind yourself what you need and that you're worth it. And that sometimes, especially after people get used to us and our family and friends, I mean, they get used to us, we get used to them, and it's easy to get lazy, because we're used to it. So sometimes we have to retrain people how we deserve to be treated.
And ourselves.
And that's okay. Starting with ourselves. Yes, absolutely. So just a gentle reminder. I mean, it's so common. It's so common. And I also want to say, but this part, I feel like is a little like a playful nudge at you. I feel like I need to harass you about getting enough sleep. Like, I feel like you're not getting enough sleep. And it's like spirit just wants, to poke you and be like, hey, it's, I don't know, are you not getting enough sleep?
The funny thing is, Jeffrey, I felt this wave kind of wash over everybody that is listening or will listen later. That feels like a very broad message.
Yeah.
That everybody is kind of a little deficient. It's like that feeling of you've got a vitamin deficiency or something. There's a feeling that everybody that is connected with us at this time is just really not filling themselves up enough. So it feels like a global message to all of the participants. And if you're listening to the replay later, it feels like this is for you as well, to say, do 3 things. I'm just going to pick 3 things that I can do to take care of myself and to fill myself up again. Going back to what I said earlier about what can I do that's going to create vibrance in my body, in my heart, in my life. Just pick something, pick anything, and just start that energy moving.
Evan says reading about twos on the Enneagram may be helpful. Givers can overgive. Been there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a beautiful place to wrap it up with that broad message, that broad stroke.
It is. It's been such a joy to be here with everybody. I love all of the energy of everybody that's with us. I love talking to you. You're so fabulous, and you are such a burst of high vibration every time I spend time with you.
Oh, thank you. Ditto. I mean, the feeling is mutual, darling. People email me often or direct message me and talk about how much they were touched by the things that you had to share. And
thank you.
And that's why I love it when you're here. So thank you. And you guys, thank you so much for being here with us again. Like I said, I know you have a billion other places your attention can be focused on, and I just love it. I love you guys to pieces. So everybody have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be again in touch next week.